Well, good afternoon, everybody. Are we having a great day? Excellent. So my slot is really to introduce you all to our new Aseptic Process drinking gels. But with that in mind, what I want to do is, really following on from what Pauline said earlier, is that when Ashley and I started our business, which was 22 years ago, or 23 for Ashley, 22 for me, is that one of the things that I was taught was about building up your knowledge, learning your craft, really understanding what you have your hands on. And so I went to the advisory board trainings. I wasn't an advisory board member then, but I didn't go once or twice. I went again and again and again. And every time somebody joined the team, they would also go to the trainings because it made total sense to me. If I was going to be part of forever the Aloe Vera company, then I needed to understand about aloe vera. I needed to understand how aloe vera could be beneficial for people's health, because you've already heard it. It's about using the products and then retailing the products and coaching people how to do the same, to use the products, retail the products, coach people to do the same, and that's simplicity of our business. So what I'd like to do is really get you to understand about aloe, but then also what often happens is that you will come across people that say, oh, well, I'm getting aloe vera on the high street or whatever. But then if you have the knowledge, and I'm not saying that you're going to be using it every single time you talk to somebody, but what happens, you're given the confidence then to be able to share the information about the products, because if someone was to ask you a question, you've got the knowledge there to answer back to them. Does that make sense? And often what happens is that we hold ourselves back from giving people information about the products or the business because we don't have the confidence to do that because we haven't got the knowledge inside. So let's start off by understanding a little bit about aloe vera as the structure of the aloe leaf. So you can see from the picture here, there are three main areas I want to concentrate on. But we want to make sure that the aloe plant has reached 4 to 5 years of maturity. And what happens with the plant, as it grows, the mother plant will develop its own little babies, and they're called aloe pups. I know, and they develop at the base of the mother plant. So they're harvested every 3 to 4 times every year. And when you actually harvest them, they actually seal themselves, so the outer leaves are taken away, but they actually seal themselves to retain the water content. And that happens virtually straight away. So it's quite interesting that the aloe has the ability to sort its own wounds out so it can continue to thrive. The outer leaf there, you can see the dark rind. It has high content of both calcium and magnesium. And then we have this aloe latex, and the latex is the sap. And that's something that we don't want to have because this contains laxative-like properties. So we like to focus then on the inner leaf, and that inner leaf gel, where all the goodies are, where all the goodness lies. Now, some people say about whole leaf aloe. And literally what whole leaf aloe is as it implies, they just take the whole leaf and mush it all up, you might say, and then the solid matter is filtered out. So the difference between whole leaf and the gel is the difference between something that's got everything in. I say it's a little bit like a sausage where you've got fillers in it. So that's what whole leaf aloe is. The most important thing is to understand what is in the aloe, because this is the key to really our business. Because it's about, for those of you who've been to my trainings, I always talk about it's not what you eat, it's what you absorb. And then from what you absorb, it's the bioavailability as well. So bioavailability is once you have absorbed all those goodies, how your body can use them. So these are things I'm going to talk about as we go through the presentation. So you can see we have a cocktail of goodness within that gel. So let me just talk about some of those. First of all, let's have a look at the vitamins, pick out the vitamins on there. So we have lots and lots and lots of different vitamins. And the vitamins also have vitamins A, C, and E, and those are known as our antioxidant vitamins. Also B vitamins, including B6, folic acid, and B12. In fact, the aloe vera plant is one of the few plants containing this particular B vitamin. There's also minerals. In fact, I'd just like to read out the the minerals that I actually refer to Dr. Peter Atherton's book quite a lot, and I know you can actually get Peter's book today out on the stand. So within the plant, there's calcium, there's manganese, sodium, potassium, copper, magnesium, zinc, chromium, and iron. Just think about that. So a whole cocktail of minerals, and then we have enzymes. And enzymes are important for lots of different things, but especially for digestion. And there are two main digestive enzymes. First of all, we have amylase. And amylase actually is an enzyme that will start to break down your starches and your sugars. Lipase, that works on your fats and fatty acids. So enzymes, there's 8 in total, but those are 2 key ones that I've just picked out. What about amino acids? So amino acids are your building blocks for protein. The aloe plant contains 19 out of the 20. It actually contains 7 out of the 8 essential ones that we need. So essential amino acids are those that your body actually can't make itself. The only way to get those is through your diet. And it's important to put these amino acids into your body on a daily basis. Sugars. So we have monosaccharides, glucose and fructose. And they're the fuels that our body runs on. And then ace-mannan. So ace-mannan is one of the key team players of aloe. This is actually made up of 3 different sugars: mannose, glucose, and galactose. So as a polysaccharide, this is what sets it apart, the Aloe Vera barbadensis Miller plant that we use because of the ace-mannan. And it sets it apart from the other 400 species. We also have in there sterols. Sterols are soothing. There's salicylic acid. And salicylic acid is a natural ingredient that's found in things like willow bark. You may have heard of that, but it's synthetically manufactured, and we know it as aspirin. And then you have water. So water is an essential nutrient. And a lot of people don't realize the power of water. In fact, when we are born, we are 90% water. But the average person will be around about 50 to 7% water. So you can understand how important that is as a key nutrient. So collectively, within that gel, the bit that we use, there are 75 known ingredients. So what I want to do is just quote something from Dr. Peter Atherton's book. Now, Dr. Peter Atherton is part of our advisory board. He doesn't train anymore, he's retired. But one of the things that I was taught when I started my business all those years ago is to really understand about the plant, to understand what I was going to be recommending to people. And Dr. Peter Atherton has actually studied aloe at Green's College in Oxford. And so I often think, well, if we're going to learn, we need to learn from those that have got the knowledge. So for those of you who have got this book, it's on page 25. For those of you who want to get the book, it's also on page 25. The potency of aloe vera is due to its rich variety of ingredients, which are present in perfect balance and work together as a team. Although the solid portion of the plant forms 1%, the rest being water, this small amount of active ingredient can produce a substantial effect. The only way to account for this is to accept synergism within the plant. Synergism means that the effect of the whole is greater than the effects of the component parts. So although individual members of a team could only have an effect, together they can achieve a great deal more. And when people say, well, what is it about aloe? You just think about this for a moment. 75 ingredients all together, nutrients all together in one plant. And what happens in our body, we have about 46 trillion cells, and each of those cells needs to have nutrients. All the things that you can see on the slide. But the key is that we need to have them in perfect balance. I like to give the example of water. So this bottle of water contains H2O, 2 hydrogen and 1 oxygen. Yeah? So if I want to create water, 1 hydrogen and 1 oxygen won't create water. It has to be the right ratio, 2 to 1. And for this magic to happen, you might say, we've got to make sure that everything's in perfect balance, and that is what you get in the aloe plant. And it absolutely fascinates me that nature has created a plant that has all the nutrients in the right ratios so they can have these chemical reactions, because chemical reactions, nutrients are chemicals. And that's exactly what's happening in the plant. What's also interesting, this ICYMI that I've picked out. We actually have the International Aloe Science Council certification, and that measures the quality of the aloe. And how it measures it is the amount of ICYMI that is present in that aloe. So you can only get that certification if the right levels are met. So that's how they actually work that out. So as you can see, without going any further, the key is to have these nutrients. But also the key is to have these nutrients so they are still active. And that's what we've created. A drink that is delivering to you active ingredients. So what I'd like to do, I'd like to, have I got the video now? Is that the video? Can't remember if it's now. Oh no, it's next. So I'd like to share a video with you, but this video is going to introduce you to the aseptic process so you can really, really understand about who we are as a company. And what you have to understand is that constantly, forever, are we evaluating and improving its products so we can ensure that we are ahead of the game. It's amazing that every time I see that, it just gives me goosebumps, especially the end when you see Rex. And you just think, if it wasn't for that gentleman's focus on what was possible, we wouldn't be sat here today. So one of the things, 40 years on, we're about a culture of success. We're committed to constantly improving people's lives, but we never lose sight of those people around us that help to make it possible. From the workers in the field, right through to every single aspect that I've shared with you in that video. But we mustn't forget it actually starts with the aloe plant itself. And each of our plants will get 2,000 hours of sunshine a year. Isn't that amazing? Because that is part of what aloe needs. So let's just give you a few indicators to understand about our aloe. And as I said, we understand that the aloe vera has those 75 nutrients. We've understood then that the nutrients in aloe are working in perfect balance. So our body can benefit from those nutrients that we're putting into our body on a daily basis. But as we said, Forever wants to deliver the best possible aloe to you and also to your customers. So it starts then in the Dominican Republic or in Texas, where we have plantations. In fact, a 6,500 acre aloe plantation can be found in the Dominican, and it's actually the largest in the world. We have over 30 million plants in the Dominican and harvest over 1 million pounds in weight of aloe per week. We employ the locals, the farmers, and provide excellent working conditions. And on top of that, we control every single aspect, 100% of its plantations. It also controls the planting season, and those little pups are chosen by hand. Methods of fertilization, we control. Seasons of harvest, processing, storage, and also delivery. So we've already learned that our aloe plants have been carefully nurtured with the same level of care and of the standards that we put into every one of our final products. We've learned about we take the lower leaves and they're harvested by hand, they're filleted by hand. And the leaves are then processed within 6 hours of harvesting. The new process, the aseptic process, which has evolved, and this now ensures that the aloe is preserved to its freshest and maintains the maximum benefits possible. So what's interesting about that, we have now retained the nutrients, increased the amount of nutrient content in our drinks by 300%. And with that in mind, we spoke about the ACE-mannan and how we have to use the ACE-mannan as a level to show the quality of the aloe that has now doubled in the amount that we need to get that International Aloe Science Council certification, we're very, very proud of that. 20 aloe plants are equal to 1 tree. So we care about our environment. Forever has over 50 million aloe vera plants in its plantations, and therefore our aloe vera cleanses the earth of hundreds of millions of tons of CO2 every year. So this new aseptic process, let's just kind of understand a little bit more about what we're doing with this and how we are delivering a preservative-free aloe. So aseptic, this means a cleaning technique or the removing of pathogens. If you noticed on the video, after the guy that was, did you see him filleting that aloe plant without even looking at it? That's really scary. At least he's got aloe there if he did cut his finger. But it actually starts at our plantations there in the Dominican, and that's when our first aseptic process happens. And this is reduces the ability of the bad bacteria to breed. Now, the aseptic process takes less than 12 seconds, so it's like a flash heat. And also, the heat that we use is less than 70 degrees Celsius. And that means that we are not damaging the nutrient content, which is really important. After that, we then fill totes, and these totes are transported to the packaging lines. And then we have 20,000 gallon tanks are used. Other ingredients are mixed for our gel formulas. So we know that we produce our plain gel, and then we have the aloe berry nectar, and we have the peaches. So all of those ingredients will then be mixed in. More testing is done. In fact, testing is done throughout the whole process. We then have another flash heat treatment for a second time. Now, what's interesting about this flash heating, again, this is actually going to increase the bioavailability of the aloe. So what that means is As I said, it's not about what you eat, it's about what you absorb. It's not about what you absorb, it's the bioavailability. So what you've absorbed, all those wonderful nutrients from the aloe, those nutrients are still bioavailable for your body to use. And that is the key to our health and well-being. 5,200 flat cartons are put on each of the reels in the machine. And then we used a sanitized vacuum filling system. Caps are placed over foil openings, all in sterile chambers. And so that means that we deliver to the consumer aloe as nature intended. So of course, people have now got the drinks, and we've learned that our aloe, we have really focused on making sure those nutrients are the most bioavailable to the body because of the processes. But then why do people want to drink aloe? Well, most people I know, they want to have great skin, hair, and nails. Most people, they want a good, strong immune system, digestive system, great joints, they don't want to be tired. In fact, most people I know, they want to be the best that they can be, and that's why people choose to drink aloe on a daily basis. Because aloe contains this whole cocktail of nutrients, and it's the cocktail of nutrients that are in perfect balance that are going to support your body in the areas that I've mentioned to be the best it can be. So what is this serving size? A serving size is 120 mils. In fact, all those years ago, when I went to all the trainings, that's what I learned from the experts, that the average adult will be consuming 120 mils a day as a maintenance amount. You know, it's all to do with the size of our body. So in fact, it actually says on the carton, our serving size of 120 mils. And I think there was somebody today actually said they drank 120, 60 in the morning, 60 in the evening. Somebody said that on stage. So, slightly different with this aseptic process. We don't have any preservatives in there, so we need to treat it with a little bit more respect. Keep it in the fridge once it's opened. Don't swig from the container. You know, it's very delicate, it doesn't have any preservatives in there. And it says consume within 1 month of opening. Well, obviously, if you're drinking 120 mils a day, and there's a litre in there, that's going to last you just over 8 days. I'm going to give you a profile then of the drinks. So I thought it'd be quite useful just to get you to understand the ingredients that we have in the drinks, and it gives you that profile because people will ask you. So working on the serving size, the daily serving size of 120. Now, some people say, when's the best time to drink aloe vera? Well, the best time is probably first thing in the morning. And the reason for that is because when you take your stomach, and it has a valve at the top and a valve at the bottom, and because you haven't been eating anything while you've been sleeping, well, we hope not anyway, the valves are still open. So in theory, the aloe is going to travel through your stomach at a faster rate. But don't worry if you forget to drink your aloe first thing in the morning. It's certainly best to drink aloe at any time than forgetting to drink it at all. So that's the main reason we say about drinking it first thing in the morning. Within the plain gel, we now have 99.7% stabilized aloe vera gel. So if you think about the gel we had before, that was 96% aloe, and then that other 4% came from the stabilization process that we used, the old stabilization process. Please remember that we still have that other stabilization process in our topicals, like our jelly and our propolis and our heat lotion. So it's a good idea to call that process your cosmetic aloe, which will go into your topical products. We've added a little bit of citric acid in that other 0.3, from the 0.3%, a little bit of citric acid and vitamin C. So when we look at vitamin C, as we've learned already, that vitamin C is an antioxidant. So vitamin C, as a vitamin on its own, can contribute to maintain the normal function of the immune system. As we've learned, it's an antioxidant during and after intense physical exercise, and also for normal energy-yielding metabolism. So that is to do your energy levels. Our body, our metabolism, is about the use of energy in all of our cells. The drink is completely preservative-free as well as sugar-free. And we have this recyclable carton. The important thing about the carton, it's been designed especially to protect the gel from the light and also other external elements. Then we have our aloe berry nectar. Now, one of the things that people have said, that the consistency of the aloe seems to be different. It seems to be smoother. So even though we have now added more ingredients in the plain gel, this is still very, very smooth. Right? Now that is to do with the aseptic process, because the way the aseptic process works is that we have to make sure that the particles in the aloe are all the same size. So if there was a big chunk of aloe and that flash heat treatment, it wouldn't get into that bigger or thicker bit of aloe. So that is why there's no kind of bits there anymore. I hope that makes sense to you. So that's why it's smoother. That's why we don't have the aloe bits and peaches anymore, because the aseptic process wouldn't work so well. So here we have, as you can see, in 120 ml serving, we now have 90.7% of our stabilized aloe vera gel. We've added 4% of natural apple juice concentrate, plus 2% of cranberry concentrate. Vitamin C again, and this contributes to normal collagen formation for the normal function of your skin, your teeth, your cartilage, your bones, and your gums. What's interesting about collagen, it's like your super glue that you have all through your body. Once again, preservative-free, and that recyclable carton. So who's tried the peaches today? Who thinks it's yummy? You know those customers or those people that wouldn't drink aloe vera because it didn't taste nice? Do you think you could go back to them with that one? I personally believe this is going to be one of the most popular drinks, and for me, perfect for children to take. 84.3% stabilized aloe. We've added natural peach puree, and there's also some natural white grape juice in there as well. With the vitamin C, this contributes to the reduction of tiredness and fatigue, and also increases iron absorption. Once again, preservative-free, and in that recyclable carton. So, of course, what's great is that with the Tri-Paks, this is giving people the opportunity to be able to get 3 at the same time, because obviously consistency in taking the aloe every day, it makes total sense that that's going to give you 24, 25 days of aloe if you're taking 120 mils a day. But also, importantly, you've got 10% more case credit value by buying the Tri-Pak rather than buying them individually. So I hope that you found that of use to really understand what you have your hands on, and you can stand up with pride and say, I am forever the Aloe Vera company. Thank you very much.